since we're right on the dot.
Oh, and I will make you co-host, Kinga.
Oh, great. Thank you. I'm very tired.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay, so it's 7:31, so I'm going to go ahead and start our video. And I'll share a little bit about why I'm sharing it afterwards.
Hi, Sue.
Hey, Kinga, we're not hearing any audio.
Of course not, because I have my headphones in. My bad. I will restart it.
What's up, y'all?
Second.
I feel like I maybe have said this before, but I'm going to say it again. I was sitting here watching a chat with Katie Couric and Neil Teichel, or I don't know who he is, but I believe he's a constitutional lawyer, scholar. And the question came up about whether or not, Donald Trump could run in 2024. And his proposal was that sure he could run, but he wouldn't get elected to dog catcher. And, he won't ever win. And and I had to stop and I had to pause and I had to do this What's Up, y'all, because white supremacist delusional amnesia is going to get us all killed. And I've said this so many times, but I just really can't say it enough. I'm probably just like, I cannot say it enough. If you are white, whatever you think white people not going to do, they've already done it. Whatever it is you think white people would never do. And I want you to be able to see people, to remove your lens of individualism, your lens of just like, oh, humans won't, right? And I want you to put on your lens of I see whiteness. I see the tenets and movements of whiteness. I'm starting to see it more clearly, while recognizing you ain't never going to see it clearly because you're a fish in the water. You don't know what water is, you're just in it, right? But somebody can be like, so look, if you get close to the surface, you can feel a distinction, can't you, right? If you are white and you think something's not going to happen, it's probably already happened. And you just don't know about it because you don't have to know. It is like people got amnesia again. And I said this in a video before, right? The white delusion demands amnesia. It demands a forgetting. It's like, it is, its behaviors are so aberrant that it demands a minimization inside of its own psyche in order to continue to function, right? So notice how the events of last week become softer, hazier, fuzzier, if you're a white person. How they may feel less acute, perhaps, Notice the places where you're like if you're at home right now thinking great, that's over. I'm glad, I'm glad we're done. This on the 20th, Biden will be elected and then we can get back to normal. Or, we'll be done with Trump, or we'll be done with the faction of people who stood for Trump. If you think there is any semblance of anything regular anything that your mind already understands about the world and how it operates. If you think any of that shit is still true and on the table, you are inside of white supremacist delusion. White people so refuse to believe the capacity and capability of white people's violence, of their terroristic behaviors. White people underestimate the diabolicalness of whiteness on a regular basis. I just want to tell you, you cannot trust yourself to recognize it. You cannot trust yourself if you are white to fully understand the level of vileness that white supremacist delusion will enact in the world. You can't know it because you couldn't know it and maintain any sense of sanity in the world, knowing that that is a way of operating on a continual basis. The brain it's the same way a serial killer, I imagine, has to put some distance between all the people that they kill all the time. They have to put on some semblance of whatever they consider normalcy, right? They have to suppress the urge. Otherwise, they would just be killing people all the time, which would make them much more likely to get caught, right? So they have to suppress the instinct sometimes. They have to dull the inclination. This is the nature of white supremacist delusion, right? And it exists on a spectrum, right? On a scale that is, down to your everyday bullshit ass microaggressions up to the white supremacist, malignant narcissist who 76 million people in the country voted for. And so when people get on television and say, I'm going to tell you, here's your example. I was watching CNN the other day, and a CIA official was talking about all of the tactical drills that they have run for scenarios, right? A scenario, like these people have to practice scenarios of things that can happen in the US that they would have to address. And they never, ever ran a practice of what would happen if white people tried to storm the Capitol. Now, what I think is hilarious is I am not in the CIA, and I have practice runs in my own brain about what would happen if the white people. I've been saying since August that it was highly likely that these white people was gonna trip, and there would be uprisings and insurgencies, and shit would get violent. I said it in August. But because the CIA is steeped in its own white supremacist delusion, it cannot conceive the magnitude of what white supremacist delusion might do should it turn on itself. And it can't imagine white supremacist delusion turning on itself. But that's because it doesn't realize whiteness is a death cult. They would sooner kill everything than to lose. So, again, inside your own, because all this work is just about, individual de-indoctrination. I'm not trying to turn around Trump supporters. I'm trying to help the people in my community, who include white people, recognize the places where these indoctrinations live inside of us. And here is just a general test for your own well-being is if you are white and someone is asking you about the possibility or probability of what other white people might do, just start from the place that you probably don't actually know. You can't conceive the full scale of it. You can't, because you're in the water. You can't know the full size of the ocean because you're just in it every day. But people who have been slapped by some waves can tell you how hard the waves are on top, right? They can tell you how rough the sea is. You won't know inside of it. It's a great place to trust Black and Indigenous folks, people of color. They know how rough the water is. They've been trying to navigate the waves for the entirety of their interactions with white supremacist delusion. Whatever you think is going to happen or not going to happen, multiply it by 10. That's usually around the rate of what really happens with whiteness. All right. Bye.
Okay, so I shared that today because I think it's really important for us to be looking at these perspectives and ways of seeing things when we are doing the kind of work that we're doing in the co-op. We talk a lot about social and racial justice within our mission and our vision and the kind of story we want to create. We want to be outside of capitalistic structures and out of white supremacy structures and institutionalized racism. And so I was really happy to be able to share this perspective with the co-op for today's check-in for our culture share. That was a video by Sonia Renee Taylor, who is an author, an artist, an activist, and as you can see, a phenomenal speaker. I'm not sure their pronouns. They put out Instagram videos regularly about their kind of thoughts that come up during different, events and moments, and they're always like extremely insightful. So that was a much longer video than we would normally, or much longer share than we would normally do. But I thought it was a really important one. And so, yeah, if you're interested in more of Sonia's thoughts and perspectives, definitely go check them out on Instagram. I highly recommend that. So I'm actually looking for, oh, here they are, our slides for tonight. So most of you all probably know we skipped a I'm just getting myself situated.
Oh, DW, I see you got a hand up.
So I don't want to, my intention is not to hijack this moment, right? So I want to ask, I specifically want to speak about the video because there was a lot of stuff that was in there, but I also want to be mindful of the fact that y'all have things that you need to do today in the meeting. And so I want to ask if there's another moment in which I can come back and talk about that, because I specifically want to, I'm interested in hearing the white voice in the room right now, and also expressing as a Black person what came up for me. But I want to give space for everybody, but I think I want to say that out loud, to say, like, I really would like to talk about that. And I'm going to hold it and just say, like, I want to talk about that.
Okay. I mean, I think that I would love to hear what you have to say, and I'd love to hear what other people have to say as well. I also want to respect the agenda that we have for those people who specifically came for that, and want to make sure we don't get too off track, because like I said, it was already a longer video than we normally do. There will be a portion afterwards for questions, as well as our community check-in point where we can kind of chat with each other. So, I mean, you can always take some time during then to share. It's in a small group today. We might just do it right here in the main room instead of doing a breakout group. Does that feel sufficient to you?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so I just want to, I want to make sure at least we get through our report and those things, but it should be really quite quick today. So maybe what we could do though, it would be nice if we went around the room and each shared like one word that sums up how we're feeling right now. And of course your name too, because we might not all know each other. So I can share. My name is Kinga. I'm the board president, and I'm feeling exhausted.
I'm Emily. I'm the community engagement coordinator. I use she, her pronouns, and I am, let's see, little hungry right now. Didn't get much of a dinner.
I can go. I'm Sue Morello. I'm also on the board. I'm the treasurer. And I'm happy about the snow outside.
Hi, everyone. I'm Michelle, and thanks for inviting me to this via Facebook. I'm new, so I'm just really open to learning and being present. So thank you.
I'm Madeline. I'm a member, and like Michelle, I feel curious.
I'm DW, pronouns they, them. I am a member, and I also am tired, exhausted.
Okay, was that everybody? I think so. Welcome, Michelle. Happy to have you as a new person here. Thanks for joining today. So I'm going to go into our land acknowledgement. We want to acknowledge we are benefiting from the land that has been seized, expropriated and stolen from Indigenous peoples. For thousands of years, this has been Pakumtuk land. This is still the homelands of the Pakumtuk, Norwottuk, Woronoko, Agawam, Nipmuc, and Abenaki. These native peoples and their descendants are still living here among us. Every time we gather here, we must acknowledge and respect that fact. So we'll have some updates from our board quickly. So we are going back from December and January, and all of these will be sent out in slides in an email. So we'll just go over the most potent top things that we wanted to share with you all. We held 2 events in December, including the Intro to Mindfulness, which was actually held by Madeline, and a community meal. And then in January, we actually also did a Co-ops Not Cops watch party discussion on co-ops and abolition movements. And there's a video of that will be coming out shortly as well. For governance, that was on the community side. For governance, we put the final touches on our board application, and we're now recruiting and actively inviting people to apply for board members, as well as, well, that's what we did. Yeah, that's the past. The business aspect, we've been getting closer to our goal to launch an official site search committee, which will happen when we hit 750 member owners. And we also, I want to say, we partnered with the Co-Food Buying Club to offer bulk food orders for member owners, which is a really exciting new development. In February, our goals are, in terms of community engagement, is to host more skill sharing events. So if you have a skill that you'd like to share with our co-op over Zoom, like cooking, art, wellness activities, anything that you would be willing to host and share. Like I said, we had the Intro to Mindfulness with Madeline, which was a really nice event. And we're looking to do more of those that our community could share with each other. In terms of governance, excuse me, we are recruiting and onboarding new board members. We are currently getting ready to put out our first wave of invitations for people to come and apply, as well as, like we mentioned, we'll be starting the site search committee soon and kind of going over the committees and solidifying those more deeply so we can grow our capacity. Excuse me. In terms of business, we are recruiting and onboarding our site search committee members. So I just mentioned that because that's connected to the business piece. And we're also going to be connecting with more local business to build up our member benefits package. So just like we have the bulk ordering for food, we're going to start bringing together some more benefits that can be given to, like, exclusively to member owners once they sign up. Roadblocks that we're experiencing are with the holidays last month, taking care of our health and processing traumatic news that's been happening in our own lives or outside as our collective experience. We've been needing to take some time off to take care of ourselves and our families. And a lot of people are experiencing pandemic burnout right now. And it's been 9 months that we've been quarantining, as well as all of the other political and social justice uprisings that we've seen happen throughout the year. We realized we never once took a break as the board. We've kept going strong this entire time. And coming back from the holidays, it really has been clear that our board is starting to feel a little bit of burnout. And so we took our time coming back into everything, and are also going to continue to do that as we build up our board and make sure that we have a really strong governance that can push us forward in these next steps. So the way that our co-op needs your help is in terms of finding prospective board members. If you know anybody who could be a good fit to be a board member, please let us know. Or if you yourself might be interested in being a board member, please let us know. You can, if you received the last newsletter, in that you can find the information for the description of the position, as well as an application. So again, if you know somebody, you can absolutely send that straight over to them and invite them to apply, or you yourself can apply. We'll also be looking for prospective site search committee members, as well as other committees in the upcoming month. But we are putting a special focus on the site search committee members because that's a new committee that we're starting since we're reaching 750. We're also looking for bookkeeping support to help us with our financials. And so if you yourself are interested in volunteering for that, or if you have some skills, if you have a person that you know, if there's a individual professional that you think we should consider hiring, that would be extremely helpful. We're looking for volunteers to continue our calling project, to check in on fellow member owners, which has been going for a couple months now and will be continuing throughout the winter. Support or leading a virtual event to help us with help from the board. So the board, of course, will see you through that process, but we're looking for people who would be really interested in just giving an offering to our community and having that be a gift that you offer the board and the co-op. Making connections with local like-minded organizations. If you have organizations in mind that you think are really in alignment with us and that you think we should be in contact with, let us know, because we are building not only a list, but different connections as well right now. And support with organizing and leading our fundraising efforts. It is really important for us right now to be leading new fundraising efforts. And so if you are somebody who is interested in fundraising or have experience with fundraising, or again, know somebody with that interest or experience, that would be extremely helpful, because we need support in the organization and development of those projects. And as well as member owner testimonials. If you have a testimonial you'd like to send us of your experience with the co-op, or why you joined in the first place, why it's important to you, why our mission is important to you, that's always extremely helpful. So now I want to pause to ask, do you have any questions for us about what we have brought up so far in the meeting? Or what's been, not in the meeting, in our check-in. What has been spoken of? Madeline?
Mine is just a short question. I'm really excited about that buying club. Are we going to be able to know how many co-op members sign up? Like, I would love to know that. It feels like another connection point between us. Like, oh, until we can have a store, we can still buy stuff together. Will you keep us appraised of that?
Yeah, I'm not sure how many of our member owners have contacted Lions. He's the one that runs it over at the Pioneer Valley co-housing. But I can certainly follow up and find out. I know they already the group has about 40 members, and they're trying to expand, and they've also expanded the group to include Symbol Gifts Farm CSA members.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like a way we can start practicing together, like until we have our store, buying stuff together. Thanks.
Yeah, and I'll also add to that real quick that as more of our member owners learn about this opportunity and sign up for it, we are wanting to build up a group of volunteers who could assist with delivering any orders to people who may have difficulty getting transportation to and from co-housing, as well as volunteers to help with navigating the website for placing orders. It's fairly straightforward, but it's helpful to have extra support.
Especially we were thinking if anybody has a language barrier to the website, if we have volunteers who would be willing to support with that. So these are things that the opportunity didn't already offer, that we were thinking of in terms of, the way we function in our co-op, and a lot of our focuses are making things accessible for all of our community. So we want to continue some volunteer efforts with that. But yeah, it's a very exciting situation because it's definitely, we get to support them in their efforts by bringing our nearly 750 member owners, but at the same time, it's a huge benefit for our member owners to have this opportunity to book ordering if it's accessible to them.
Mm-hmm. And also, we're working on building partnerships with other local businesses. And so hopefully in the coming months, there'll be more news that we'll share about other little discounts and whatnot for member owners. So yeah, if anyone has any other questions about anything that Kinga just shared, or any general questions about the co-op.
How many members are we up to?
We are at 748.
Oh my. Well, that means two more to go. Oh my gosh,
yeah,
wow.
We're right there.
Yeah.
Welcome, Ellen. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. So, and let me know if I am not, please.
Hi, thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry I'm late.
No worries. Right on time. So if anybody has any other questions or comments about what was just spoken of.
I have a few more things that I could offer for community virtual events. So Emily, I'll just email you, but I could do a community sing. It actually works on Zoom. It's, you have to all stay muted, but you can, it works, believe me, I do them a lot. And I could also do a World Cafe, which is like a conversation and breakout groups around a theme, and empathy circles for like a listening, kind of deep listening practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those all sound wonderful. Thank you, Madeline. Yeah, and I'll just say for, Yes, I'll definitely follow up with you on that. And I'll just say to everyone too that if you're interested in leading an event, we're happy to support you every step of the way in advertising and hosting the event on our Zoom account. And it also doesn't have to be something that you are entirely donating your time to. We can post your PayPal or Venmo information so that you are compensated for your time as well. So, yeah. Thanks, Madeline.
Okay, so the question that we have for today's break, or our what do you call it? Our circle is, what are some self-care practices or coping mechanisms that you have found helpful over the past year, and how have they been helping you to avoid pandemic burnout this winter? And so yeah, I think that because we are in a small group today, we could stay here and have this conversation. I also want to acknowledge that DW brought up earlier that they're interested in discussing the video that we watched a little bit more in depth. So I want to, and actually I'll also say that part of the reason this is our question today, because usually our question's a little bit more about creating ideas as a community and brainstorming our next steps for the co-op. And as I shared earlier in our report, we took a little bit of a break and are having a slow comeback because things have been really heavy for all of us on the board, and we've been experiencing some burnout. So we're thinking of holding off on next month's community check-in as well. Because like we said, our focus is going to be in building up our board and our committees so we can build capacity so that we're not having as much pressure on ourselves. So that's kind of where this question comes from in terms of like, what are some things that you're doing for yourself, and how have they come up over the past year, and how are you using them now to keep yourself going? And so we intentionally wanted this question to be more introspective and personal and have like a little bit more of a check-in together. So if we decide that having a conversation about, or not even decide, if what happens is that people would like to reflect on, what they received in the video and how things are impacting them right now, that's absolutely acceptable too. This is an open-ended moment for us to connect and share with each other. And in fact, because of that, I would like us to stop the recording so we can have some time together. So for everyone who is watching the replay, love you all. Hope you're all well, and hope you enjoyed that update. Let us know if you have any questions. And otherwise, I just want to open up the floor for who's in the space with us right now to share, like, how have you been doing, and what are some things that are keeping you going, and how are you experiencing this extended pandemic in the winter